It's time for the Motown Rundown, presented by Impact 89 FM WDBM. This is your home for all things Detroit sports, from the Lions and Tigers to the Pistons and Red Wings. Now here's your host, Ryan Rabinowitz.
Welcome in to episode 29 of the Motown Rundown. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Rabinowitz, joined alongside my friends, my companions, my brothers. That's getting too soft. Trent Balley, Ryan Collins.
We're not brothers.
I know.
Softer than cottonelle
we don't
tissue.
we don't like each other that much.
Yeah, I know.
I love you guys. Can't speak.
Yeah, we know you do.
I love what I do here, and I love you guys.
I love you too, Trent.
Collins, it's a great day.
I haven't really warmed up to Collins yet. We've been together for about a year or so, and it's
a growing process.
It's tough.
It's just
a growing
We go to marital counseling every now and then.
Okay, enough of that.
Behind the scenes. Coming to you, as always, from Impact 89 FM Studios in East Lansing, Michigan. Big day today in East Lansing, folks.
Woo,
Big day.
huge day.
Michigan State, Duke, Elite Eight. By the time you hear this, the game is probably already over, and you can imagine whatever the result was.
Tears will be shed.
Tears of joy or tears of pain and suffering, which
we're winning.
Usually here on the Motown Rundown is lots of tears of pain and suffering, more so than tears of joy.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. We have endured a lot.
Not really.
We actually have.
What do you mean, not really? Why are you
sorry.
already like this?
Never
to start
mind.
The day?
I'm just
Never
gonna say
mind.
that.
You guys
Endured
didn't
a
go to
lot.
Buffalo and watch the Lions score 0 points in the second half.
Was your
Sorry.
that was your
No,
decision.
it-
That was your
it
decision.
It was. I was trying to throw you guys in there because, like, we're all in this together. But whatever.
No,
Continue.
I was just gonna say, Detroit sports have been so bad. It's not that
Yeah.
we haven't endured like pain, like
It's numbness.
The 2014 Tigers.
I guess that's
Like,
true.
That's real pain.
I'm numb. That's what it is. I'm in limbo with I don't know.
What was
But when your
Joaquin
teams are
Benoit
bad,
doing
it's-
throwing that changeup?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
he
think about it all
hung
the
that
time.
thing.
I think about it
Yeah.
all the time. I literally do. I'm
the
like,
security guard.
I'm just like, oh my god.
Big Poppy said,
I thought Torrey Hunter caught that. I'll always be like,
No way.
dude,
didn't go to bed that night.
Torrey. Pour one out for Torrey. He went over for that thing.
I love Torrey Hunter. Great Tiger.
Yeah, he was.
Again, big day. Michigan State and Duke, Elite Eight. I'm fired up, ready to roll.
You sound fired up.
I am very fired up. No, I'm excited.
You
I'm
get 2
pumped.
hours of sleep or something? What's going
No,
on?
4. I don't know. 6. I don't know. I had a
Okay.
couple hours sleep.
That's better.
I was at the Tequila Cowboy last night. They're closing for good, so I had to make my first beers awesome.
Big
Great,
fan.
good live band. Because here's the thing. I mean, you go out in East Lansing and in all these bars, and granted, it's what the kids listen to these days, but it's all this EDM and jibber jabber and hooting and hollering.
All
and,
this jibber jabber.
Well, it's-
Ryan
I
Rabinowitz,
can't-
75
it's
years
hard,
old.
It's hard for me to listen to sometimes, so it's nice. It was nice to get away. I got to wear my boots. I got put my Kings Creek hat on, my flannel, my Dierks Bentley shirt, and just living it up, man.
Did you wear cowboy boots?
No, I was wearing like Chelsea boots.
Okay.
I don't have
cowboy
boots.
look so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
so
worn them before.
uncomfortable.
They're tough. It's
a
tough.
wild look too. Like whoever thought that was a good
I gotta
idea.
show you my picture of the Zach Brown Band concert a couple of years back.
Cowboy boots?
Yeah, it was great. You'd love it. I'll show you when we're done here.
Okay.
What were we even talking about? My sleeping schedule? Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Mission State, big day.
big day today.
Big day.
We're excited. 5:00 tip here. 5:05 tip. 5:05, not 5, not 5:06.
I wish it would have played earlier. So like, I just
You need
I'm
it to
so
just
nervous.
happen.
I'm so nervous, and I just need the game to happen already.
I feel great. Trent thinks we're gonna win by 100 per usual.
We're gonna win by 6.
Mission State's better, but
I had a
like,
dream
there's
and we won
something
by
about
6.
It. There's something about it.
Trent had a dream.
I did. Guys, this is funny. I dream about sports, and it always
I'm
happens.
sure you do.
I'm just. I
It's
do.
a little weird, but sure you do.
How many times have you dreamed about the Lions like winning the division? How many times? has that
Never,
happened?
never, and it's not happened. That's the
Okay.
thing.
When that happens,
Trent's gonna call us in a cold sweat at 4 a.m. Guys, you'll never guess what I just dreamed about.
no way. Stafford won a playoff.
gonna
Anyway,
happen, baby.
back
This
to
year.
we'll bring it back to the Detroit sports here because this is the Motown Rundown. We do talk about Detroit sports. We talk about sports in the Motor City. The Tigers are back officially. Last episode we teased it. Opening day was around the corner. Opening day has happened. The season is here, and it's snowing again here in Michigan for some reason.
It was like 60 on Friday, 35 the day after. I was like saying this to my friends, queue up the people who are like, only in Michigan you get this weather.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this isn't everywhere in the East Coast and Midwest.
if you don't like the weather in Michigan, just wait 10 minutes and it'll like,
Oh yeah, I'm
relax.
so over those jokes. Too.
Relax.
So over the weather, like people need to chill on the weather.
Weather stinks, man. I hate weather.
No, I hate people who talk about weather.
I had a on I think it was Friday. Me and my buddy had a nice catch. We had a catch. It was our opening day. It was like our spring training.
Were you on the hop?
Yeah, I was moving. I was picking a backhand for whatever. I had the glove working good. I will say though, I don't know what it is, and I did not a big deal. I hit the gym earlier that day, little shoulders and chest. So I was a little tight, a little sore, wasn't feeling great. I think I've just lost some unreal velocity in my. I can't throw the ball anymore.
No,
it's a joke.
The thing about it, I mean, I played baseball since I was like 7 till I was 16.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, and then I played golf because I was too unathletic to play baseball.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, but every time I try and play catch now, my rotator cuff is just like after 3 balls, I'm like,
it
yep,
feels
nope,
like my shoulder's attached by a piece of dental floss.
Nope.
I can still feel it.
I mean, I
just gotta get loose, man.
I know you do. You gotta get loose.
my arm's still fine. I'm like Matt Stafford.
You guys are.
Did you play baseball, Trent?
No.
I thought you did. You know how to throw a baseball.
Well,
at
yeah,
least.
of course, of course.
You gotta know how to throw a baseball. But
Do you?
I mean, yeah. Why would you?
I don't
assume I do. What was I gonna? I had something great to say too.
Are you trying?
You were
good
saying
segue.
it was
You had a
something
good
about-
segue in
yeah.
the midst right there, but
did.
you just lost it.
You had your Segway face on.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, what was it? Darn. Shoot,
Well,
darn it. Whatever.
well, you
Who
lost
cares?
it.
Let's just
You
move on.
yeah,
It's been
let's-
such a long day. Green and White Report today was long day for us today.
You're telling me.
Understatement. Read between the lines.
Long day for us today. Okay, Motown Rundown. Let's roll. Episode 29. We're gonna get into it now. Obviously, it's baseball season now. April Mendee is not as exciting as in years past because all the teams kind of stink.
It's not even April yet, too.
That's true. Oh, it's about to be April.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow's April. Congratulations. It's April.
We made it.
Okay, couple quick things I want to get into here. I guess you could say a storyline on each team in the city before we get to Tigers. And I want to start with Pistons, and we do have a special friend in the studio. When I say special, I mean special. He is my co-host on the Green and White Report, if you listen, shameless plug. Julian Mitchell, he's a Missouri man, but we're lucky to have you here. Julian, hello.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Welcome to the Motown Rundown.
Wow, this is special. I've been trying to get on this show.
I was going to say,
a
we've been
minute.
talking about this for way too long for it to
Yeah.
just be happening on March 31st.
It all come to fruition because I have to take Julian home, and now he's waiting until we're finished here to get
I was
to
saying,
get him home.
that's the crazy thing. Like, this wasn't a planned
No.
Yeah,
appearance.
but this
was a, I don't want to walk because it's cold.
But it's one of those things that, like, you said it, and we were all just immediately
yes. This is
Hop
good.
on.
Like we said, Julian is from the St. Louis area, but he is
That's a fact.
a big NBA guy. As we get into Pistons here, now look, Julian, to fill you in, I'm not sure how much you listen. I can imagine you don't like listening to Ryan Collins very much. Not many people
I
do.
don't.
Just
I
kidding,
don't.
Collins. I love you very much. I love you.
I'm starting to get
Say
the
it back.
sense this is
Can
like...
you say it back?
Love you, too.
Thank you. Look at that. Look what we do here on the Motown
That
was
Rundown.
pretty
This is
good.
awesome.
I love you guys.
Love and logic.
This is great. It was ridiculous.
We're just
Anyway.
hugging each other for like 2 hours right
Anyway,
now.
so we recap games all the time, Julian, and to bring up the scores and we hash it out, whatever. I've got here's a headline that I just threw out. This is my headline. This is my belief now.
Okay.
I believe it is a possibility that the Pistons slide out of a playoff spot. There's 6 games left to play. They have a home and home with the Pacers Monday and Wednesday. They are in Indiana on Monday at 7 p.m. Say that 10 times fast. That was tough. Julian, do you subscribe to this proposition I've made that the Pistons may potentially fall out of the playoffs completely?
I think it can happen. I think there's a lot of battling for that seed right there. Brooklyn's down there as well. But I think the Pistons pull it out. I think this team is finding ways to win. They found a way to win in Little Caesars just Saturday against the Portland Trailblazers, which are a very good team. 99-90 was the final score in that one. And you look at the last 6, Pacers are tough games, but they're still without Oladipo.
Yes.
Very much beatable. Very much a team the Pistons can take out. The Thunder's a tough one, but the Thunder have kind of been sliding and slipping a little bit towards the finish line. Hornets are a team to beat. Grizzlies, another team to beat. And the Knicks, both of those are tanking for Zion. So I think the Pistons, they're finding different ways to win. It hurts that Blake isn't there right now, but I think they'll continue to find ways. He'll come back, and they'll finish out the season, I think, at that 6th seed.
I was just when you brought this up about the standings, I kind of like doze off like for 2 weeks and just like assumed the Pistons were in.
Yeah.
And I just looked. I'm like, oh, only one game away from Orlando. That game was really big on Thursday.
Yeah, it was.
That was a big dub.
Yes.
And they did rise to the occasion.
Yeah, but you looked at this. I mean, Reggie played spectacular yesterday.
And
I
he
mean,
has been playing spectacular.
not spectacular. I mean, he's been all right.
Good.
He's
Yeah.
been
He's been playing good.
He's been good. He's been serviceable.
I'll take
But
it.
Yeah.
It's been serviceable.
If you guys watched the game last night, I felt like I was watching the 03
Yeah.
Pistons play the Pacers. It was 30-30 basically at half.
I think Reggie had 28, 5, and 5.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm
mean,
not mistaken.
but you take Blake out of the lineup, that brings it. I mean, that kind of takes away from the element of you have like two bid. When you have to put Thon there, it's kind of a different type of like roster you're running.
I love Thon.
No, I like Thon.
No, I know. I'm just
He's
throwing
good.
it out there.
I like how Thon and Drummond play off each other in that pick and roll where they do that horn set that Michigan State does, I think, like every time down the court now, where they got the two guys coming and picking and rolling and they just kind of move and try and find a guy in the corner. But like you have Thon who stays up by the three for a pick and pop, and then you have Drummond rolling, and either one of them's going to be open. So, I mean, that was working last night. I mean, Reggie was making all the right decisions. Bad boys were in the house. Little good juju. They wore the black jerseys for some reason. I never understood.
They should have
They're the
throwback
worst.
Bad
They're the
Boys
worst.
jerseys.
They should wear the Bad Boys jerseys.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
know.
Always.
That would be sick. That'd be nasty.
It should be.
No, but I think they'll get a spot. I just don't believe Orlando. It's the Magic.
Yeah. I just
Like the
here's the thing.
Magic?
Just to answer the question, I don't think it happens simply because Dwayne Casey is not going to let it happen. And
Okay.
you know, I don't know if you want to go as far as to say like Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond won't let it happen, because I totally get why people wouldn't buy into that. However, just with respect to the Portland game last night, it's kind of tough because Blake was such a late scratch that it's almost like, okay, well, we just got to like change our game plan on the
Yeah.
whim, because Blake literally, it was like 10 minutes before tip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came out for warm-ups too and everything. He was
Yep.
ready to go.
He was, and he never returned to the bench either. He was getting treatment and stuff, and just never came back
Yeah.
out. But no, I don't think the Pistons slide out, because they should win 4 of these last 6. Julian just gave it to you. I'm definitely thinking you win one against the Pacers. At home is the 04 15th year anniversary. They're having those guys back, so I think they'll win that one because they'll just be motivated. Whatever. Hornets, Grizzlies, Knicks. You win those games. Thunder game's winnable, except they have a lot to play for, and it's in OKC, so I don't know about that. But you guys are gonna totally just like crap on this. But I want to bring it up. I want to talk about it. Andre Drummond set an NBA record for 4 seasons of 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 100 blocks, 100 steals. No one else has done that 4 times. LeBron,
I respect it.
LeBron, Wilt, Kareem,
I
Duncan. These
respect
guys played for 20 years and never did it 4 times.
I respect it.
I mean, Drummond's playing a million minutes.
That's
now.
my point.
He just
Yeah.
plays every minute now.
And he's playing hard.
Also-
he's playing well.
Who's scheduling the NBA? The Pistons play a bat-to-bat against the Pacers, basically.
Yeah.
You play them on Monday, and then you play them on Wednesday.
Home and home too. Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Who's like at the end of the season going into the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's
There's
just
been a
dumb.
couple of those. I think they did that with Chicago earlier this year,
Yeah,
too.
but like you
It's
can
Yeah.
do that
just
in the
weird.
middle of the season and get away with it. But at the end of the season, when you're playing for a lot, even though the Pacers don't really have anything to play for,
Yeah.
they're kind of locked in that 5. But I mean, you haven't really talked about it, Ryan. What do you think? Are you were the one who made up the headline, but do you actually believe they could fall out?
I do. Because
No way.
do I think it will happen? No. Do I see it happen? Like, could I see it? Yeah. I mean, I could. I'm kind of along the same wavelength as Julian. Like, I just, I watching this team play, and we talked about, like, after losing games to, like, the Cavs, for example, and you bring up, like, you play the Grizzlies down the stretch and the Hornets. Those are games like I could, you know what I mean? I could see us texting in the group chat and like, why are these guys losing by 20 points at halftime?
Kemba has like a vendetta against the Detroit Pistons or something.
Yeah, we can't beat that guy. He's got the
Wow.
Jordan in him.
And then Marvin Williams, every time he plays the Pistons, he's like, "No, what? I'm gonna hit 8 threes." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Sweet Marvin Williams." I
mean-
remember you in 05. Like, what?
I mean, the Hornets too. Also, like, granted, they're like 3 games back of an 8 seed, so it's not probable, but it's possible. So you have to imagine the Hornets are in the kind of spot too. Like, you're not gonna go just blow, like, you losing the next 6 games if you're the Hornets doesn't help you.
Right.
At least you try to go 6-0, obviously. But
try to make it, yeah.
I just think the Pistons, you look at 1 through 5, and I think everyone has clinched 1 through 5 so
Yeah.
far,
Yep.
and I don't think those I mean, 4 and 5 can move between the Celtics and Pacers. They're locked up right now, so I don't know. I mean, dude, Pistons basketball, just they suck you in and they push you back out. It is what it is.
I will say. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're going to have to perform. They have one of the easier schedules of the team. I think if anybody jumps them, it'd be the Nets. I really love the Brooklyn Nets. Russell's fantastic. But I see them just beating out the Heat. The Heat have a very tough schedule to end out the season. They play Boston back-to-back Monday and Wednesday, then Minnesota, Toronto, Philly, and then Brooklyn end out the season.
Yeah, that's tough.
Good night. They might not make the playoffs,
the thing is,
period.
for the Pistons, I'm hanging on to this. Those last 2 games against the Grizzlies and Knicks, they might not even put. I mean, they'll play 7 guys. You know, like they're both going for Zion.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's the last 2 games of the year. They're not even going to throw a lineup out there. You know, so I'm saying that, hoping that's what happens. You know, the Pistons just take care of business. But I guess just to go back to that, I don't think the Pistons are sliding out.
We were talking about this last week, and we've been talking about it for a couple weeks. Bringing in Julian, who would you rather see in the first round? Would you rather see the Sixers as the Pistons hold on to the 6th seed, the Raptors, or the Bucks? One of those 3 teams.
If you're the Pistons, you want to see any of those teams?
Yes. Who are you picking?
Between, you said Bucks, Raptors, and
Sixers.
Sixers?
Because those are only 3 teams they generally have a shot
Those are
at
the
playing.
3 outcomes.
Yeah. I think I would go with Sixers.
Really?
I'm so
I love this.
iffy on the Sixers.
Okay.
They do have one of the best lineups starting 1 through 5, but I think they have issues in terms of who's going to show up any given night, who's the guy who's going to take the shot. They're still trying to figure out how Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler kind of work, because Jimmy's the closer. Joel's the guy. He wants to put up 40 every night, but Jimmy also wants to be that guy. I still don't trust Ben Simmons. He still doesn't have a competent jump shot.
I don't trust him either.
I wouldn't defend him.
Not in the playoffs, at least. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, I still really like the Raptors. I don't think you want to play Kawhi Leonard in that team. I have questions about Kyle Lowry, but I think Leonard powers them through. And the Bucks you're not winning against the Bucks.
I believe that for a long time, but with Brogdon probably being out the first round of the
and
playoffs.
Mirotic and Pau Gasol.
So Pau Gasol's 90.
It's
that
another.
doesn't
It's
matter.
a depth piece.
Yeah, I mean
90.
But
90.
I mean
Some respect on Pau Gasol's
Giannis is gonna drop like 55. Like whoever he plays, he's a beast. I will say that, but like I think the Pistons can match up with the Bucks now. I mean, Trent's been saying this.
I've been saying it since February.
Yeah, but you were saying it when they were completely healthy. Like this team's a little battered and bruised, and they haven't won yet. I don't want the Pistons to slide back to the 8th seed, but I think the best possible outcome right now is if you see the Bucks or the Raptors. There's something about Joel Embiid that he just owns headspace in Andre Drummond's head.
But there will be at least 1 or 2 games where Drummond outplays him, and we will live for that. Yes, there will be. There will be. They're going to play 5 or 6 times.
Incredible.
I'm not denying that. But in Detroit, I think Andre would outplay him once or twice.
I will say this. I think Joel Embiid's the most slept-on best two-way player in the league. He is so good on the defensive end. He does not get enough credit for that. He gets too much credit for being able to shoot the ball because he's broke.
Yeah.
From the 3-point line, but he locks on the defensive end. I don't know.
I agree. I don't really want the Sixers, but I want the smoke.
Yeah,
I want Embiid.
I guess the other question on that, I'm glad you asked that to Julian, is we've kind of had this discussion about whoever the Pistons play. I guess, I mean, I believe that whoever they play, they will get swept. Do you think that they will at least win a playoff game? Do you see them competing in a playoff series?
I think so. I think at least winning 1 game.
Yes.
I think this team's competitive enough. And I think the fact that no one has talked about the play of Blake Griffin this entire season is beyond ridiculous.
Because he plays here. That's exactly why. It's sad. But
Yeah.
that's why.
This man has revolutionized his game to go from just a power dunker to now he can step out, shoot threes, he can take it from range. He's revolutionized his career, and he's been everything for this Pistons team. And I think they stay competitive. The 3 gauntlet of whoever you could face between the Raptors, Bucks, and who else? The Sixers. Jesus, is a tough. Those are 3 tough teams.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't see them making it out the first round. But to me, I think Sixers, Bucks, that can be a competitive series.
You get in, you play hard. That's all you can ask for, because in Detroit, I mean, we haven't made the playoffs since 2016. We know that. We got swept by LeBron. Before that, it was 08? We haven't made, this is just, you got to be happy with what you got. You got to go out there and play hard.
And that's all
it.
you want, I think.
Yep.
I mean, the way they constructed this team and they took that chance on Blake
exactly.
was to buy in right now. And maybe you don't win it all, But getting playoff appearances, getting there, I think is a big point
being
for the
competitive.
city, for the Pistons, as they try and move forward.
Julian, who do you root for? Do you root for the Celtics for your boy Jason? Because I know he went to your high school.
He did.
So who do you root for in this playoffs? Are you a West Coast guy, East Coast guy? Like, who's your team? Who do you root for?
It's a strange thing, actually. Like, I used to be a huge Bulls fan,
Okay.
but that was mostly because Derrick Rose got me into the NBA.
Okay.
And then, everything happened with Derrick Rose. And so it's been weird. I haven't found a team. I've just been kind of a player guy. I'm a huge Curry fan. I don't really want to see them necessarily win another championship with KD, but I do follow the Celtics. I do really like the Celtics and what they do. I don't think they win it all, though. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's just tough when you don't have like a basketball team in a city like that. I don't know. St. Louis probably should have a basketball team. The Spirits? Is that what they were in the
That's
ABA?
what- yeah, the
Spirits.
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 The Spirits. We should have a basketball team. I don't think it'll happen. People are so gung-ho on Seattle
Yeah, I
getting their
know.
team back. Seattle had their chance.
They
Yeah.
did.
Bring
They
it to
had
St.
it.
Louis.
Yeah.
It's a good segue, Collins, and Julian too. That was a good segue. This is the last thing I want to ask Julian, because we do have other teams to cover here in the city of Detroit, as bad as they may be. So here's the thing, Julian. We have a team here. We have the Detroit Pistons. We have been Pistons fans for life. It has not been easy. There's been some ups with the Pistons, but a lot
It
of
was
downs
easy
as
for a
of
long
late.
time.
Yes,
It was easy for a long
It was easy
time.
for a long time, but not so much anymore. And you bring up Blake Griffin, and you bring up the construction of this team, and you said something very important. That being that, maybe, with this team you've constructed, maybe you don't win a championship. And I think that's the thing that we struggle with here, and people in the city struggle with, is I look at this team, and I think we all look at this team. When this Blake Griffin trade happened, we were scratching our heads because we were like, you're giving up first-round picks, you're giving up pieces that you can use in a rebuild to where you eventually get this team to a point where they are competing for championships. I think a lot of people, and I think I speak for all of us when I say we don't believe that this is a team that can win a championship. I don't think anyone thinks this team can go out and beat, we don't even have it going on to the first round of the playoffs, let alone winning a championship. So when you look at the construction of this team, when you look at even as far back as they're bringing Blake Griffin in, is a fan who's maybe outside looking in, what is your opinion on the direction of the Pistons, I guess their roster composition, how you think they stack up against the rest of the NBA, and more importantly, do you see a future with this team, given this core, to where they are competing for a championship? Or do you think, like, if you have to tell us right now, hey guys, once Blake's time is done, you need to tear this thing down and start over, then by all means, I'm ready to hear it.
I think you just said it. I don't think this team's winning a championship. And it hurts to say, and I know it hurts for the people of Detroit and all the wonderful people who follow Pistons and all Detroit sports that listen to this podcast, but they just got in a bad predicament. You're sitting there with a new stadium, your team's going nowhere, and there's a chance to get Blake Griffin. You took a swing at it to get more seats in the stadium. You had to fill the arena some way, somehow. And so I think, to me, they took the swing on Blake Griffin. They said, for now, we'll take the seats. We'll take people coming to the game, people buying his jersey, wearing it around town. We might not win it all, but we'll be competitive and have something that people are going to want to watch night in and night out. And to me, it's going to be once Blake leaves, then the rebuild starts. It's a tough situation to be in, because at the end of the day, what it comes down to in this NBA is you need multiple superstars to win a championship.
Yeah.
And no matter Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, that trio has nothing to compete with. You talk about the Sixers, Joel
Right.
Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris. Like, they're not competing.
And
with
the
that.
thing that's crazy is it's an above average, like upper, like your top three players, like that. It's like mid to above average in the league, but it doesn't compete for championship just because that's how the league is now.
Exactly. That's just what it is. And unfortunately, I don't know how you change and switch it around. Maybe it starts with Blake Griffin saying he enjoyed his time here, but you got to get free agents at some point, free agents or draft picks. And it's tough because Detroit isn't a big place that people want to come to.
Nope.
But I
It's just
think
a
the
fact.
hope is you have Blake Griffin, you stay competitive. He tells people, I moved from LA to Detroit, and I love my time as a Piston. And maybe that gets some people to try and come, at least some lower level guys.
I think I've said this a couple times. When I think of like markets that are not as desirable to some players, I think it's important to get some like you said, Blake to say like good things or something like that. But it's like to get a mid free agent before you get a big free agent. I don't think the Pistons will ever be a destination just the way the NBA works and the way guys like want their money. They want to be in bigger markets and bigger media markets. Like they want to get to LA, they want to be in New York, Brooklyn, wherever they want to be. So I mean, they're stuck. Obviously, we've talked about it ad nauseum. But if they were able to, they made the playoffs and they're competitive in the first round. It's a successful year. I think. That's just like the biggest takeaway.
And I think it'll be good.
Yes,
You get your draft pick, and that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing now.
You have your draft pick,
if
too.
you are a small market, you have some success now, and then you tank, and you get a high draft pick. You get a young guy who hopefully can be your centerpiece. And then with the Blake, you get a whole bunch of mid-level guys who say Detroit's not that bad, and then you go from there.
Now, I guess my as I already said, I had a final question. I do want to ask this, too, because you did talk about your trio, your core there of Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. I think Andre Drummond's a name here, and especially Reggie Jackson. Are two names that have been, I guess, kind of out in the open as, people are on the fence of you trade them, you keep them. Do you have an opinion on where Andre Drummond fits into this team? Is he part of the future? Is it time to get rid of him? Reggie Jackson, too, I'm curious.
Man, that's such a tough question because I just don't know what pieces you go and then give for those two guys. As much as I don't think Andre Drummond is really the guy that fits in where this NBA is going and the current of it, but he's consistent. I give him that. As Trent said, he had 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and I think 1,000 steals or something like that. But to do that for the past 4 years, that's a guy. He gives you what he gives you. And I don't know if you're going to get a more consistent piece, a piece that really works. So I think Drummond is where you go with now. Reggie Jackson has always been a guy who I really don't think he's that good. But for what else you're going to get on the market, if he can give you what he's been giving the Pistons these last couple of games, I think you stick with him. That's the thing. The Pistons have bought into what they have right now, and they just got to find a way to make it work. Because I don't know where else you're not going to find a whole lot that's that much better. Because right now they're sitting in the middle. You need major pieces if you're trying to make a leap up.
And the money situation.
Exactly.
To go along with exactly what you just said. They bought into here and now, and that's what you got. Because quite frankly, you don't have the money to go out and trade for a guy like Kemba because he's not going to stay. So those things all come into play when you talk about trading or drafting or anything.
Exactly. And where's he going to go? Kemba's going to get talks of both LA teams, potentially even a New York team, and then Detroit's going to come in and try and swing him.
No. I actually think Kemba might just take the supermax from Charlotte. So you know what? I like Damian Lillard. He says winning's not the most important thing to me. Like he wants to win, but he wants to do it his own way. I did see Kemba staying, but I mean Charlotte's kind of been a dumpster fire. They haven't really got him any pieces around him. But
you know whose fault that is?
Who?
Michael Jordan.
That's facts.
Yeah. Okay.
That has
nothing to do
awful.
with.
I had to throw it in there.
Okay.
I can't even
fair
lie.
enough.
He's not good in that.
He's the worst executive in the history of American sports.
Oh.
Well, Matt Millen's first.
Hold on,
he's second.
Hey, it's Trent over there with your boy Bron though. Magic's not doing too well either.
Magic's bad. Listen, Magic, that's
not
rough.
great.
We could do a whole hour special on what's wrong with the Lakers.
I really don't want to because they stink. They're so bad.
Yeah.
And they have so many playable players, it makes no sense.
And they're all on one-year deals. The team's going to be totally different next year.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
whatever.
I don't know.
We don't care. We're not Lakers fans.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
We can move on.
Yeah.
All right, 6 games left to play for the Pistons, folks. Home and home, Monday, Wednesday, in Indiana on Monday, 7 p.m. Julian Mitchell, thank you so much for being here. This was great. This was very insightful.
This was sweet. Thanks for having me. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Yes, you do have a very big NBA mind, so we appreciate you coming on and adding some perspective into our lives because people just hear us regurgitate the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
It's probably exhausting. When the Pistons are up 2-0 on the Sixers, you can come back. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Would love it.
All those matchups are terrible.
Yeah, they're not great.
We are
to me,
looking forward
Sixers
to
just
it.
sounds. I would like to watch a little Sixers Pistons. I wouldn't be too mad at that playoff series.
There would be a fight. I would be all in for that.
It's definitely box office. It's Drummond and Embiid, and it's a great starting five against a hardworking team. It'll be fun to watch.
All right. A couple more headlines I want to get into real quickly before we do Tigers because that is what is important these days. This has happened a while ago now. I just want to hear quick opinions on it. Red Wings re-signed Jimmy Howard for 1 more year. Love it, hate it, whatever.
like you said, you've been saying this for years. They don't have another goalie down the pipeline. Until they draft one, they kind of just got to stick with Jimmy so they can be like remotely competitive.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I don't hate it, but I hate what the Red Wings are doing right now, just winning every game, basically.
Yeah, the way I saw it was you're just buying more time to find another guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just basically what Collins just said. You
Bridge
have to get a
deal.
younger person in there so that he can at least like learn behind Jimmy for a year. That'd be nice or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I think
know.
this is the one area where the Red Wings have kind of put by the wayside. They have some young guys that are like not really in the system yet, but under contract, I believe, or at least they have the rights still with the Red Wings. Yeah, Collins, like you said, I mean they've been winning like for some reason and somehow Tara Hirose, but 5 assists in 5 games.
Yep.
Or I don't know if that ended the other night, but
He's been really solid.
either way, really solid. Cool to see a Spartan in there. There's our Red Wings talk. Not much.
Yeah.
What's going on? One last piece of news before we do Tigers.
Actually, wait one sec. I
ahead.
actually want to say something.
Okay, say something then. Okay.
I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I love the Red Wings. Whose idea was it? We're like, hey guys, we're gonna play the hardest we can the last 10 games of the season
and
we're
win in
gonna
overtime.
Yeah, we're gonna jump the Devils. We might jump the Sabres and end up not even being in the top 3. Are you kidding?
I mean, I don't know. Again,
they were in the bottom of the lead the whole year. The whole year.
Yeah.
What has inspired them this last 5 games? What? It's so.
Tell
why?
us how you really feel, Collins.
And then if they
I
lose,
like
they're
the
going to
passion.
OT.
I
I
like-
don't get it. I don't get. I know they're trying to lose, but just like, hey Larkin, go like take like a vacation in Miami. I don't know. We just
I mean, dude, they brought up like Jake Chelly. They're bringing up guys that have no business being in the
and they're
NHL.
winning somehow.
That's crazy.
Why?
I don't know. I don't have all the answers for you, Collins. I
Blashill.
don't know.
Because Blashill's a lunch pail guy.
Yeah.
He got a 2-year extension. See that?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Blashill came walking into LCA and he said, we're not losing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? Should we talk about? Yeah. Why
I mean,
not?
I don't know. I think Blashill and Ken Holland are attached, so I don't think the contract really means anything.
See, I let me say this. So it was a 2-year, right?
Yep.
Extension for Blashill. My feelings on the matter are just that I think that the whole talk about Steve Yzerman coming over here, I believe that after this year they will dissolve Ken Holland elsewhere into the organization. I don't think he's going to be gone. He will take some kind of advisor role or whatever. He will be in the front office still in some capacity. I can see Stevie Y coming over here. I just think the reason why Blashill gets extended like that is because next year you're not competing. You're like you still are a ways away. Because next year Jimmy Howard's still your goalie, and I'm sorry, but Jimmy Howard's not winning you 45 games anymore. He's not. Like he's not winning you 45, 50 games. So you're still kind of in limbo of figuring out who your pieces. Because you got guys like Rasmussen who haven't. I mean, he hasn't been a bad player this year, but he's got a lot left to prove. You got Zadina who will come up next year. Joe Veleno hopefully sees time. You're still trying to figure. You got guys like Giovanni Smith in the AHL who you're not sure is he going to make. There's a lot of question marks still. I just think for Blashill, I've always been under the impression that he's great at developing young talent. I mean, you see what he's done with Grand Rapids. He's got a Calder Cup to his name. So that's huge. I just think at the NHL level, I think at a certain point, once these guys are primed and have experience and are ready to roll, I don't see him being the guy anymore. Like in the future, if and when Steve Yzerman comes over here, I'm sure he'll hire in his own guy. But I look, the heat on Blashill I don't think is it warranted. I would
agree.
It's just,
I agree.
He's like, what do you want him to do?
They have the worst rosters in 30 years.
Well,
what do you
it's like
expect?
across all sports, whenever you're rebuilding, the only reason a coach would get fired is if the players don't like him.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
clearly they do.
Like the players love Blashill.
So I don't know. I don't have much to say on the Wings. It's kind of obviously draft time will come around, and we'll see when the season actually finishes. But my last thing here before we do Tigers. I have to bring up the Lions. This story that arose that Matt Patricia last year was asked by the Dolphins about trading Stafford, and I believe the story was that Patricia wouldn't even listen to offers.
Yeah,
he just said no. So my question to both of you was: one, would you have at least listened to an offer? And I don't know, would you have? I mean, because Collins, you're obviously not as big on Stafford as Trent and I are, but should the trade have been made last year?
I don't know if the trade should have been made. If he wasn't listening, I don't believe that one bit because he had to be listening. Because that's just like objectively not doing your job, like whatever. But I looked at it, and Stafford obviously probably had his worst year in the last 6 years of his career. Last year, he wasn't good. He wasn't himself. He wasn't the Lions' best player like he was the previous 4 or 5 years. But I mean, I understand them trying to stick it out with him. I think the whole Patricia twin experience is like they're kind of trying to beat into their culture, and they're seeing if like they're gonna get enough time if the culture will ever like turn and like work out for them. But I need to know what it is. If it was like 2 first rounders, I would consider it. I would consider it.
That's fair.
But I mean, you would probably have to eat a lot of your salary anyway. So I don't think trading Stafford is like a good move, but I think you're gonna eventually have to move on from him. If you were able to get assets, I wouldn't have hated it, but I wouldn't have loved it either. So I'm indifferent to it. Indifferent. Even that's like the worst thing you could be when you're on a podcast or radio.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I don't have an opinion.
That's okay. We still value your indifferent opinion.
Yeah, I guess.
But for me, no one wants to listen to me like rant about how much I love Matt Stafford. However, I will say that I think it would be stupid to trade him just because you cut the cord of Stafford and you got all that dead money. I forget
the dead cap. The way the NFL cap works makes 0 sense.
Yeah, it's
Zero
it's dumb.
sense.
I agree, it's stupid. But no, I don't. You don't trade Matt Stafford. I could get into all this stuff like that we'll talk about when the season rolls around again. But you're so much closer to winning with Matt Stafford than you are if you knock it down and start over. Because especially now, I mean, I know this when these trade rumors occurred, it was during last season. But especially now, when you have Trey Flowers and you bought into some of these new players. And you actually have a direction. You know, Jared Davis, you're probably going to draft another linebacker, things like that. Kerryon Johnson, Kenny Galladay. Young players, you got a young core. And I could understand the logic of eventually wanting a young quarterback. So, yeah, we trade Stafford and we draft a kid or whatever. But he's proven. You have a proven quarterback. And in this league, we look at what Josh Rosen did. Even Sam Darnold wasn't great. You know what I mean? Josh Allen wasn't great. I don't buy into that really that you need a young quarterback to win, and you need a young quarterback to develop with your young core. I think you can win with an established veteran quarterback who's been a Pro Bowler, who's been to the playoffs, things like that, winning seasons, battle tested, all that stuff. I think that's more valuable than just trading him away and taking a shot at another kid.
I just think there's nothing no one is saying Stafford is objectively bad or anything like that. He's a good quarterback. I just think people understand that he's overpaid.
Yeah, and some people want to move on from that. And I understand.
But I think this year's the litmus test. I think that you got probably the best quarterback draft probably since the RG3, Andrew Luck. The hype-wise, the best quarterback draft next year.
Yeah.
You see what happens this year with Stafford. Hey, if he has that, last year was a fluke. Fine, we'll pay out the rest of your contract.
Because that's the thing. It's easy to say all this when he just had the worst season of the last 6, 7, 8 years. You know,
so. But if not, maybe he's declining. You're like, hey, we're gonna move on. 1st round pick, we'll move on. You have you go on. We'll rebuild, whatever. So I think this year's the measuring stick on what you do with Stafford.
This is the last thing I'll say about it. If Stafford has another bad season, then you can move on. That's fine. And I say that knowing he won't. He won't have another bad season. I'm confident.
So I agree with that.
Yeah. I think Trent. I think you hit it on the head there. Just as far as my opinion, I just think I mean we talk about this so much, and it's so typical that in the dead of the offseason of the NFL, this by the way, the Dolphins happen to just give Patricia a ring about Stafford. Who cares? He didn't get traded. What does that even mean?
And well, the other thing is when did this happen? When the Lions were 3-3, that's why Patricia wasn't listening.
That's like me telling you guys I'm thinking about going to Taco Bell later. I don't. Who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's pointless.
What I do want to get into now is we will end the show with this because it is March 31st as we record this. There is somehow snow on the ground again, but Tigers baseball is here. They will be finishing up a 4-game set with the Blue Jays in Toronto today. That game has already started for us as we're recording.
0-0.
0-0. Like it. Of course it's 0-0. There's no way the Tigers are getting hits.
Yeah.
Opening day on Thursday, Jordan Zimmerman goes 7 innings, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. Before I get into the rest of the games, I don't know. I was vehemently upset about this.
You were triggered.
I was very mad. So much to where I tweeted at the Tigers and at Fox Sports Detroit. In the game of baseball, I get it, man. All these millennials are ruining the game now, where we gotta let's knock the game to 4 innings and let's just intentionally walk everyone. You can just point to first base and you can go walk over there. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. I can't stand it. I don't like being roped into this whole millennial category because I'm a baseball purist. Play the game. Play the 9 innings. No pitch clock. No point to first intentional walk. Play the game.
The
It's a
people who
sport.
enjoy baseball will not complain at all.
Yes, this is ridiculous. So I don't know what the explanation is. I'm ready to go. I'm pissed. I don't know what the explanation was for why, as soon as the 5th inning ended, I got Jack Morris and Matt Shepard. Jordan Zimmerman has a perfect game. Shut up! What are you doing? Like, Jack, you are a damn good pitcher, bro. You ought to know better. That's baseball superstition supersedes any other sport. When a pitcher has a perfect game or a no-hitter, you don't say it. Yeah. Let alone put a box on the screen that says perfect game through this amount of innings. You don't do that. You don't touch it. You can. Dan Dickerson does it great. He goes, something's brewing. Jordan Zimmerman's having a pretty good day on the mound. That's how you do it, because Dan Dickerson is a legend and a professional. And I want Rod and Mario back. I don't care that they almost killed each other. This is ridiculous. I want them back too. This was the stupidest, most unprofessional BS crap I've ever seen in my life.
Let's chill.
No, I'm not going to chill because
there's a difference between unprofessional and your personal preference of superstitious.
No, but no one does this. No one does this.
So no one does it. I'll give you that.
That is not true. That's not true.
I have to cut Shepard a little bit of slack. Let me tell you why. This makes sense. Think about it. He has wanted to be the Tigers play-by-play guy his whole life, and his first game, Jordan Zimmerman's thrown a perfect game through 6 innings. He's fired up.
It's just the.
But I'm with you. I'm with you.
It not only was a thing they mentioned, it became like a movie.
Yeah.
Like the camera, he's not going to be talking to anyone. I got to listen to Jack Morris explain to me how the guys are going to leave him alone in the dugout. Like, I know, I get it. Like we've seen perfect games before. We've seen no hitters. We understand what happens. Like this is nothing new. But what is new is, for whatever reason, I don't know if you think people are stupid that watch baseball, or you're trying to explain it to the millennials or my grandma watching the game, that a perfect game is going on. You don't touch it. You don't talk about him sitting by himself in the dugout. You don't flash it on the screen. And because right after they mentioned in the 7th inning, this is where fans start to cheer for the pitcher, actually, for the other team.
Yeah, they did say that.
And then the ball to Josh Harrison. Yep. And then, first of all, I thought it was an error at first, but obviously it was an infield single. But they mark it as an error on the screen, and they go, that's it. The no-hitter's gone. I'm like, dude, first of all, it's the perfect game's gone, not the no-hitter. Then they flip it to a hit. It was so embarrassing. And like I said, I tweeted to Fox Sports Detroit and the Detroit Tigers, this was stupid. It's embarrassing, and there is nothing you can say to defend these people at all. You can't.
You're acting like this never happens. I understand you're mad about it, but this happens every single time this scenario happens. When JV almost had that no-hitter against the Twins, they're showing JV in the dugout, just pacing up and down the dugout. They just do that. It's a fact.
But you don't mention the words or speak of.
I agree with
there
that.
There is a perfect game. He is perfect through. No, Jordan Zimmerman, he's pitching a great game. You look at Dan. I'm telling you, Dan Dickerson does it great. You look at that scoreboard. A lot of zeros up there. That's how you do it. That's how you dance around it. So Jack and Shep, if you're going to be in the booth all year, figure it out.
Listen, unfortunately,
I don't think that's going to happen again, though, this year.
Unfortunately, the animation in the studio here is kind of symbolic of how this season. Like we're upset about this because this is what we have to cheer for.
Yeah, this might be the most upset you are all season.
Really, it might be.
Well, I have some more things to be upset about, but to finish off that game, Tigers win that one 2-0 on opening day in the top of the 10th, a 2-run jack by Kristen Stewart.
Kristen.
I know they're now calling him Kristin. That was
The
Christian.
man.
I thought it was Christian
Yeah,
with
there's,
no A.
there's no A in there.
Kristin.
By the way, they get that he hits that bomb in the 10th, so it's not even like Zimmerman would have like.
Didn't get the
we
win.
couldn't get him
exactly.
any run support.
That too, I was saying when I was watching that game, I go, yeah, I swear, if you guys don't get this guy a run, and I'm glad he blew the game, because if they didn't, I could just see going into the 9th inning, he got 115 pitches and they had to pull him. Anyway, only 2 hits for the Tigers on Friday. They got shut out 6-0. Matt Boyd takes the loss in that one. They lose Saturday 3-0. It's 0-0 right now.
Top 2.
I guess I'll kick it to you guys first. Thoughts on what you've seen so far from the team?
I mean, I think we saw this last year. They're gonna be. I mean, Toronto is no world beater. Like, they're not good either. So, I mean, this is gonna be like hard to judge how good either team is off this, because I think both these teams are like bottom of division teams. But what I've judged on the season is they're gonna be well managed with Gardenhire. And they're gonna like take their growing pains. So be a little here or there, like little success like they had last year at the beginning of the year. But I think the biggest takeaway is I think Miggy might be washed. I know it's been a couple games. His bat speed is this.
He had a nice day yesterday.
No, he did, but his bat speed, he's guessing. He's guessing, like completely guessing. He does not have the hands that he used to have. I'm just saying, it could get ugly in the next couple of years with Miggy. That's what I think.
Okay.
For me, it's kind of like, so going into the season, my biggest concern with this team was actually pitching, because Fulmer's out, and now it's like, okay, well, what do we got? We have guys like Miggy coming back. It's like, okay, offense won't be like too big of a struggle.
Yeah.
I thought. I'm completely wrong, right? The pitching's actually been pretty good.
The bullpen, sneaky is not that bad this year.
I know,
in comparison to like previous years.
I'm holding my breath because Joe Jimenez and what's his name, Alcantara. I like him. He's young. He wears the striped socks and the stirrups. I love it.
Yeah,
but
huge move.
Spencer Turnbull actually did not have that bad of a start the other day. He gave up one big home run, and that was it. That
put the nail in the coffin
because the Tigers can't score. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If the Tigers could generate some runs and win some games 5-3 or 5, the Tigers are relying on Kristen Stewart to hit 2-run bombs in the 10th inning. And by the way, Kristen Stewart, he bats what, like 205?
Yeah,
he was great in the minor leagues for a long time.
I know. Yeah. He deserves a crack up here in the major leagues. And I like him. You guys remember I said before the season started, like, I'd keep an eye on this dude. But this team is offensively challenged. That's the fact of the matter, because you look, the Tigers are relying on winning games 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. Things like that. They can't generate runs. They have 2 runs in the last 3 games, and they're 1-2 because of it.
Yeah, and you said it very well. The concern for me coming in was pitching,
even with Fulmer,
because I didn't know who your rotation. I don't know what your rotation was going to look like. I didn't know what you're going to do with Daniel Norris. You have guys apparently Franklin Perez is hurt again. It's just all these things, and you look at the way that the rosters are shaken out in the minor leagues too, and you have some guys knocking on the door in AAA that you'll see this year. The bats, though, I look at the lineup. I mean, you have Josh Harrison, you go Candelario, you go Castellanos, Candelario, Miggy. Who bats 5th?
Jordy Mercer.
He's
John Hicks.
Goodrum's in there. You have Kristen Stewart. You have guys who on paper, wow, these guys can hit the baseball. Collins, you bring up an interesting point about Miggy that I didn't really think about until you said it. And yeah, first couple games, his swings did not look good.
No,
he looks uncomfortable in the box.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in shape. Which, I mean, it's hard to come back in shape after.
I wouldn't expect that.
No, after you have like a pectoral injury, you can't really work out anything. I feel like if you have one of those.
And just given his his build and everything.
Yeah, it's been an unexpectedly quiet start, and this seems like this has been the story of the Tigers for the last handful of years. Is your bullpen blows games. So far, they've been fine, and you don't get run support when your pitchers pitch well. So a guy like Zimmerman, you don't get run. Like Verlander was famous for it at the end of his time here.
Yep.
Fulmer famous for it. Pitches lights out, gets
Max
no
Scherzer
runs.
Back in the day.
Gets no runs. And then they do get runs, the bullpen just blows it. So that's where you're...
That was the best. I like thinking about those old Tigers teams. It would be like Scherzer had like 20 wins because the Tigers were 7 runs every
Yep.
time he pitched.
Yeah.
And then Anibal Sanchez, I think, won the ERA title that year, and I think he might have had like 10 wins.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't score for him.
Exactly.
Baseball's so funny.
Yeah.
I love baseball.
I do too.
Opening day,
It's the best, man.
it was so perfect this year.
Beautiful day outside.
It
too,
was
opening
so
day.
nice.
Yeah.
I get out of class, I was like, wow, the birds are
It
chirping.
was
it's
amazing.
Sun in my eyes. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
It was a godsend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they won too, which was
yeah,
awesome.
it was nice.
Can I say one more thing about the Tigers?
Of course.
Just about the hitting.
Yes.
I'm giving this team the benefit of the doubt simply because Ryan, you just went through basically the 1 through 6, and they got guys who can hit. Josh
do.
Harrison yesterday, which, technically if people are listening to this tomorrow, they're going to think I'm talking about today's game. I'm talking about Saturday's game, whatever you get it. He got his first hit as a Tiger in like 6 at-bats, 7 at-bats.
11. He's 1 for 11.
He's 1 for 11. That's not going to hold up. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
gonna come around. He's gonna be fine. Jordy Mercer's another guy that I know can hit the ball. Miggy can hit the ball. I'm gonna give Miggy the benefit of the doubt that he's just getting some rust off still. Remember, he didn't even see live pitching until like
That is true.
2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit. If we're still talking about Miggy's struggles in 2 or 3 weeks, then I'm gonna be concerned.
I mean, I think his average will always be at like 270 or like
Yeah.
it'll never get that bad because he's just so smart.
Yeah.
He just understands. He's like arguably the best right-handed hitter of his generation. He is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
Yeah.
like Pujols is kind of the generation before him, but
Yeah.
like Miggy was for 7 years. He was just unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of concerned about Candelario's swing too. I mean, he hasn't had good plate appearances. He's
Yeah.
1 for 12.
It's been rough for
Yeah,
him too.
the-
He-
And I'm a Candy guy, and I like Candelario. I think he plays a good third base, and he has the potential to be a piece. Like not a cornerstone, but a piece in the future.
yeah, like a third or fourth best.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would hope he gets to improve a little bit. It all sounds like overreaction since they've only played 3 games.
Right, that's the thing. That's what
Like-
we got to keep in mind. It's just frustrating because
Right.
I mean, and we
2
never.
runs in 3 games is brutal.
Let's be honest. They have the lowest over win like total
Yeah.
in all of baseball. I don't think we've expected much. I don't think it's fair for us to completely like bash the Tigers because they are rebuilding.
Yeah.
They are rebuilding.
Yeah, you're right. Is hitting wise, it's I guess I don't know. There's a couple guys that look like I think Kristen Stewart's one of them. Plate discipline.
Yep.
Josh Harrison waving it sand wedge shots. It's
Can't
just,
wait for Jacoby Jones to get back.
yeah, he can bat 150 and
Honestly, though, I'll take it over
Matuk.
Matuk. I'll take it over Matuk. Matuk has frustrated
Trash.
me so much this year. I'm
Yeah.
just done with this guy.
This
I'm sure
year,
he's a
it's
good
been-
guy. I'm sure he's a good guy.
It's
Oh
been
yeah, the last
3
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, we're 3 games and I'm already done with him this year because I
Good.
can't do it, you guys. It's like that's our center fielder.
I'll
I mean, I don't mean to. I'm just like really.
I'll tell you
at
what.
the least, what you can do is put Goodrum out there, put Hicks at first, and let Miggy DH. Please,
Yeah.
do something.
Well, here's the scoop.
I'm sorry.
Here's the scoop, and I'm going to tell you. I saw this opening day lineup, and I texted you guys of their outfield being Kristen Stewart in left, Matuk
joke.
in center, and Castellanos in right field. I gotta scroll. I'm not gonna be able to. I hope I can find this, and I'm gonna give a shout out to my buddy Rami, who texted me this on opening day. Once I brought to them how you see Castellanos in right field. I'll try to find it out. If I can't, I'm sorry. I cannot watch another season of Nick Castellanos in right field.
Yeah,
He's not an outfielder.
he's
a
not a
trash
position
bag.
player.
He's not. And I think coming into this year, we all kind of oh, here's the thing. I want to read it before I get. I don't know where this came from, but Rami texted me this as a quote. As it stands now, Castellanos rates as the worst defensive player in history through age 26 by defensive runs saved. He ranked last among all outfielders in the StatCast derived outs above average last year. So, I mean, he's factually the worst outfielder of all time.
And you can tell watching him.
That's not
you
good.
know.
Not
Yeah.
good.
But
He's not supposed to be there. And that's why it's
my
frustrating.
point being is coming into this year, I don't know. I'm sure Miggy's in Gardenhire's year that he wants to play at first base. You need to put Castellanos at first, or because you need his bat in the lineup, and you need to DH Miggy. This is not an overreaction.
And
This
it's-
is not we're only 3 games in. This is on a fundamental level of how this team needs to look.
Preach.
For the
Preach.
last X amount of years, I don't think Miggy ever plays healthy. He's a big
he
man.
doesn't.
It's just how some guys are. Victor was never healthy
No.
ever. So like every time Victor was at the plate, I had to imagine like he could slip a disc at any given moment.
Yeah.
That's just how I
Shoulder,
felt.
rotator cuff.
Like I think
back.
Miggy is glass. Like you see him run to first, he can't move.
It makes you nervous.
He's not a bad defensive player, but
No,
he's not
good hands.
Yeah, he's
You
not.
have to prolong his career. You got to try, because
Yes.
you look at what they got him on the books for. Collins, you probably know
2023.
2023. Okay, so Ryan
so far
Rabinowitz,
away.
Ryan Collins, Trent Balley. We all sat here about like a month ago and we did a little Tigers preview, whatever, and all of us said Miggy has to DH.
Yes.
He has to.
And,
prolong his career.
and
Preach.
yeah,
Seriously.
and what you look at now in your outfield is we've all heard too. Kristen Stewart is not a great outfielder. Is what the scouting report is on him. So there's been a lot of talk about Daz Cameron. He's had a great spring. I genuinely think you will see Daz Cameron in Detroit this year.
I think you'll see Daz Cameron by June.
No,
I
the
really
th-
do.
the
Maybe
thing
that's an
about
overreaction, but
the MLB CBA is so like bad that the stupid like term like deal thing is where they start off, they have to play a certain game in the minors, so you get another year on their contract. Like, I mean, Daz Cameron was objectively probably the third or fourth best outfielder in spring.
yeah.
Objectively.
yeah,
and
no,
that's
I
and that's
agree
a
with that.
that's a true guy who can play the position in center field and he can run.
What a sick name, too.
And
Daz,
he
are
is
you
a guy
kidding me?
who's going to be here in the future.
Yeah.
So
And-
why not sooner than later?
And so that's where
Term
you know
year.
now you start to think too about like, okay, where does Jacoby Jones fit in? Maybe you move
He
him
doesn't.
left and right, but that again, his bat. If you can't hit, I don't need you
Yeah.
here. I don't.
That's the thing. Even though it is a rebuild, it's like if you see.
Well, and you look
I
at
don't
a
even know
guy
what I'm
like
saying.
and you
You
look
just
at a
said
guy
it,
like
yeah.
Castellanos because now you look at okay, if you can't, he's not your right fielder of the future. So you put him at first, but then you have to DH Miggy. So like, where do guys like John Hicks fit in? That you just they're
Yeah.
so backed up because they can't figure out who to plug and play where. And another thing too on that tangent, is I'm just rambling now.
No, you're good.
Daniel Norris coming out of the bullpen is so bananas ridiculous to me. Like you need to give him a shot.
They
He
have given him
throws-
a shot.
But he's hurt all the time.
He's had plenty of shots to get in a rotation.
He did pitch yesterday, I believe. He pitched a 2 1/3, let up 2 hits and 2 walks. So not good. And that's what's so frustrating with the
Yeah.
and that's right. And I know you can't always predict the future, but like Alavila, whoever got these guys like this, like what are you turning out?
I mean,
You know what? I was
that-
thinking
that
Go-
trade did
go ahead.
not end up terrible for them. I mean, they got Matt Boyd out. Matt Boyd's been pretty solid for them.
But Matt Boyd, as it is right now, is a 3 to 5 guy in your rotation.
agree.
He has to be.
I agree.
Matt Boyd, when this team is quote unquote good, I assuming Matt Boyd's still here when that time comes. Matt Boyd has to be your 5th day starter. That's it. That's his ceiling for me.
I get that he doesn't have great stuff, but he kind of always produces pretty solid numbers. But I mean, you look at those moves; they did the right thing. I mean, I think the best deal they got out of all of it was Cespedes to get Fulmer. It's objectively the best move they made.
That was good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and Perez is hurt again. I mean, they better get some position players in this pipeline.
No kidding.
They better get some
I
position
was
players
thinking
in this pipeline.
It still kills me the JD Martinez deal because
There wasn't a market though. There was nothing
I
they could do
understand
about that.
but we got nothing.
It was a bag of balls.
It's
Bag of balls.
Doel Lugo.
I mean,
Can- can I see- can I see him, though?
You saw him last year. I don't know, but then again, you have like Isaac Paredes, like right up the middle. You have
Yeah.
these guys, like this is what it is. And you have, I mean, you do have names, but the thing is, these names aren't like big names of like, oh, these guys are gonna pay. Like outfield, we had Dustin Peterson, who I'd like to see play more because he's young.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But
You know who I don't want to see play again? No disrespect, Gordon Beckham. Please,
How does that guy still play baseball?
I don't know.
he said,
guys,
like I said
he's-
before, he said he was gonna retire if he didn't make the major league roster.
He's just not good.
Jordan
And,
Beck-
and I know he works hard, and this means the world to him. And he was so happy when he made the
Yeah.
Tigers opening day roster. But dude, you're not good. I want to watch some young guys, or at least Jordy Mercer. I don't want to watch Gordon Beckham.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think we've talked about this ad nauseum, like before this, that we want to see the young guys play. But I think it's funny that Jordan Beckham is just like in the lead somehow. Because every time I think of Jordan Beckham is
White Sox.
White Sox, U.S. Cellular Field, and he gets a single right over the second baseman. Just for
Yeah.
some reason, it's like one of those times like, oh, Gordon Beckham,
Yeah.
2 for 4, 2 singles right
That's
over.
that's like your
Sneaky.
impulse.
yeah, right
like,
over Infante's head. I was like, oh, well,
That's funny.
this guy's got nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, only 3 games in. 4th game is going on right now. They do travel to New York after this series before
Watch
coming
out.
home.
Watch out.
That
I
could get scary.
do think we just need to continue to be patient with this team. Like we
Yeah,
all
I mean,
said, it. The only problem
there's no expectations.
Yeah.
there's none, and that's fine. I guess the reason we're all a little wound up is because 2 runs in 3 games is dismal. That's awful.
Yeah.
You got to generate something.
I just need what's frustrating. You're not going to hear me complain about this team losing 10 games in a row. Like it is
No,
what it
me
is.
either.
But what I will fuss over is poor management. I do think Gardenhire is the right guy to be here, and I think he could be on for a long enough time where they win with him. Like they're
Yep.
actually winning with
Yeah.
him.
Gardy's the man.
He's great.
But between the front office and whatever's going on with like how you line up positionally, the pitching, where these guys are in the minor leagues, who comes up when. Franklin Perez hurt again. It's just it's starting to get. I start
Exhausting.
to get. You're starting to look like the Padres.
Really though,
No,
it's
stop.
it's
The Padres.
no,
the
we're
Tigers,
not. We're not looking like the Padres, but we're starting to get in that same
I'm
like
saying
revolving
the
door of
hopelessness.
yeah.
Like what are we
just-
doing? Churning and burning.
Because the thing is
It's still early in this
it's-
rebuild.
And this is the last thing I'm going to say about this because I can't say anything else. Okay, when you're in a rebuild, right? The point is not to just wait for these guys to age.
Yeah,
You have to put something on the field and let them develop.
yeah.
And they're not
Yeah.
doing that, and they have to. I'm again. We're 3 games in. I don't want to like jump on.
No,
We're
it's
playing the
fair.
Blue Jays, but just I hope to see some kind of improvement, some close competitive wins, close competitive losses, whatever it is. And the biggest concern for me right now is just hitting. That's all it is.
It's early.
I
It's just
agree.
early.
It is
early.
It is early, and I think we have expended ourselves now on the Tigers.
Yeah, we got locked in at Michigan State. 3 hours till tip. Everyone's got
goodness.
locked in. Calm down. Get some waters in them.
I cannot sit
Yes,
still.
yes. Okay, I got to go to Reno's. Reno's is my spot. I'm hot at Reno's right now.
Especially the superstitions. I've worn this sweatshirt the last
I was
like
just
4
gonna say
weeks.
I'm hot in this outfit. Like
worn
This
Yes,
hat.
yeah.
This is the hat. This is
Yeah.
the hat. All right, folks. Well, that's all for today's episode of the Motown Rundown. For Trent Balley and Ryan Collins, I am Ryan Rabinowitz. Feel free to tweet any questions, comments, suggest topics for the show using the hashtag Motown Rundown on Twitter. Do not miss a single episode. I, again, do not know if we are on iTunes, but if we are, Impact WDBM. New episodes every week. We'll see you next time, folks.
You have been listening to the Motown Rundown, brought to you by Impact 89 FM WDBM. For all your Michigan State and Detroit sports coverage, visit impact89fm.org/sports, and don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.